Howdy folks again, Dave Man here, Rollman Revolution. I wanted to give you all a quick update as to what the Rollman Revolution is going to be doing and kind of like what I've been doing behind the scenes, because unfortunately I've been trying to get the podcast up and running for the last 3 months now, and unfortunately with just working 2 jobs basically and trying to assess an online community as well. It's a lot of work. Plus, right now, I'm dealing with what I call matrix bullshit, and a lot of it. Just to get through the basic week is a struggle in the economy that we have, and I'm sure that many of the people that watch the videos that I produce are feeling the exact same thing. When you are strapped to the point where we are right now, where you're just basically on the wheel, the hamster on the wheel. You get up, you go to work, you do your 8+ hours or whatever, you go home, you take care of your normal maintenance everyday deals, and then you get back up and you do it all over again. The problem with it is that I think this world would be a much better place if people were actually doing what they were meant to do. If we were spending most of our times focusing on the things that matter rather than getting on that goddamn wheel every single day just to produce to stay afloat. We're not living as human beings on this planet. We are existing because the game that has been set up is just designed so that you work and occupy all of your time. So you don't have time to think. You don't have time to solve problems. You don't have time to sit and think about the reality that's going on in front of you and the proper steps to take to deal with those challenges. The reason why people don't want to deal with problems anymore is because that's all they're dealing with. Problem after problem after problem. And as soon as you fix one problem, the government sets you up so that you can find another one. I mean, the whole purpose of government and the systems that we have set up are designed to make your life better. I mean, why would I install a government if they're just going to steal, rob, and manipulate the people that they were supposed to represent? It literally makes no sense. We're living in a world right now where we have people who fuck you over every single day and nobody does anything about it. And then they bitch and complain about why the world sucks the way that it does, but yet they're not willing to do anything to fix it. Well, my problem is just like yours. You wake up every day and you try to go through the motions of things, but after a while it gets to a point like, what the hell am I even doing this for? No, the only way that anything is going to change in this world is if we get directly involved. And I know that sounds so trite and stupid, but you get tired of hearing the same people repeat the same shit over and over again. I'm getting tired of listening to myself say this. But the reality we're living in is that if we don't do anything, if we just sit around and expect it to take itself in its own direction, it's going to, yes, but it's not going to be the direction you want. It's not going to be the world. Look, the world that we have right now sucks. It sucks every single day, because think about it. If you were a human being if you didn't have to worry about all your financial problems and all of the crap that the hamster wheel does for your life, if you didn't have to worry about that kind of stuff, if you could just wake up every single day and go out, let's say, riding horses or fishing or discovering new worlds, new lands, being an explorer. This world has set it up such where you can't do anything, you can't go anywhere, you have to get authority approval to either enter or exit anything. I'm blown away by how many people think that we're just so free. We are free based upon the construct that these people have set up. These people. So unless these people are your gods, what in the hell are we following this for? That's where the arguments always come in. It's more, why? Why do we continue to keep following the things that we know don't serve us? Why do we continue to keep listening to people whose total intention is to take the ship and sink it? Whatever happened to listening to people, just listening to people without jumping in if they have an alternative idea? The world is turned upside down. Just look what happened in Europe. Everybody over there, the commotion's going out. The far left, what we call the far left, which is the radical left here in this country, is pretty much kind of taking control over in Europe. But all of a sudden, you're starting to see the people say, look, this doesn't make any sense either. These labor parties that are supposed to be for the people, all of these quote unquote parties that say that they're going to do things for the people they represent, all they do is they go in there promising all this shit and then do nothing. They just steal all your money and then you wonder why nothing ever gets done. We're living in times now where anything that's presented, like the shit with Fauci. Fauci goes up there, and of course MTG, nails him really hard and says all that, brings all the pictures up there, says, look at what you did to dogs, look at what you did with AZT, look at what you did with COVID. He does all of this stuff, right? But is anything going to happen to Anthony Fauci? No. It's all show. It never gets anywhere. Why? Because you have to have people with stones. You have to have people with integrity that are actually going to do what they said they're going to do. And the ones that do that are the ones that get persecuted. Just look at Donald Trump. Everything he said he was going to do, he did. Now, granted, if you don't like what he's doing, you can vote him out. But everything about elections is ideas. It's about ideas. If you don't like that guy's ideas or this gal's ideas, then you vote somebody in who's got better ideas. But we don't argue about the ideas. We argue about the person. We go after the person and try to destroy the person rather than become or create better ideas. The whole purpose of America and what made America great was we were a nation of ideas, free thinking, free thought. And that's what I was saying. If you weren't a hamster on the goddamn wheel every single day, you could sit around and think and actually start producing things in your life that matter. Think about your life just right now. If you didn't have to get up every single day and kill yourself in order to make ends meet, think about how much better your life would be. Think about how much better your family life would be. The interactions you have with your community would be because you've been freed up. You're not worrying about that one stupid thing that they have set up. I wake up every day with the intention of trying to make other people's lives better than they had the day before. I don't know how other human beings can wake up every single morning and honestly think of ways to try to benefit themselves and fuck everybody over in the process. I don't understand how that character quality exists in a world that supposedly was created by a God who loves and serves and how is that possible? You tell me the design of this place, suffering. And then human beings, all they do is they add on top of it. They just add to the pile of the suffering. They make it worse. Why? Because you sit around and bitch about it, or you sit around and you point at it. The answer to solving problems is fixing them, getting directly involved with them, working step by step. But I can't do it alone. And other people out there can't do it alone. It requires everybody's effort. If you want shit in your life to change, then you got to do stuff to make it change. You can't expect it to all of a sudden just into existence. Look, I wake up every morning. I turn on my TV. I listen to the bullshit that is proclaimed by the mainstream, and I have to try to funnel through all of it, see what's real and what's not. Go out into the real world in my job, and I have to ascertain the bullshit from some of the people that I deal with, some of the matrix nonsense that is just put into my life to make it worse. All of us, right now, not all of us, but majority of the people inside this country have just had it. They're so tired of people like me, or even anybody else out there talking about the same shit. We've been talking about this for decades and decades and decades, and none of it ever changes. None of it ever changes. None of it ever changes. So you can understand why people like myself and people out there have given up in many situations. They've said, this is ridiculous. What in the hell? We try. I put in every bit of my effort every single time and nothing happens. You promise everything and you give us nothing. That's the world we live in. And it only goes away if we continue to keep fighting, which is the most hard thing to ask somebody to do. How am I supposed to ask you to keep fighting when nothing seems to go in your direction no matter what you do? No matter how hard you try. No matter how much sense you may make. And I meet a lot of these people. I go out on the beaches where I live and I poll and I talk to people to try to get a vibe of what most Americans are thinking. And it's all the same. Majority of the people, it's all the same. Everybody's struggling in some attitude. They're trying to figure out how they can take care of their kids, how they can get their kids to college, how they're going to get through this week to to the next week. And it never should have been like this. It's not going to be like this. The things that I am trying to do, and again, why should I give a shit, right? Why should this man give a shit? Because based on all assessments, I've been shit on more than anyone. And maybe you're in the same ballpark. The more you try, the more you get shit on. The more you try, the more you get shit on. But you can sit around and bitch and moan and piss and nobody cares. The only way it's going to change is if you get involved, you start to recognize the agency that you have, and then you just start doing you. I'm getting tired of having to preach this bullshit because, again, this is something that you yourself know, you yourself are feeling, and you yourself know you have the answers to fix. You want to have the opportunity to fix. Most Americans want to work for what they get. They want to see the achievements, but they want to have a system set up such that they're not getting fucked over every single time. Look, you should be able to work a 40-hour work week in this country and make a decent living. Raise a family. Well, at least we used to. We used to be able to do that, but look what's happened. The wage gap and the what they call that. I hate when I forget something. But the difference between the person making the lowest amount of money and the person making the most in these companies is insane. That price gap has gotten to the point where the guy at the top is making everything, stealing it all, and the guy down at the bottom who's providing all the services, doing all the work, doing everything, gets nothing. Until we flip that script, we're going to still be dealing with this nonsense. The only way we win is by battling through it. And the reason why I haven't done the podcast and haven't got on that is because I'm battling through it every single day. One matrix problem after another. But it's going to require everything you got and everything I got in order to get through this shit. I'm exhausted. And so are you. But it requires all of us. We got to do something. Let's get out there. All right, my friends. You're going to see more podcasts soon. Like right now, I'm dealing with a dog that's slowly passing on, which is also another really sucks when you love animals as much as I do, to see that there are other psychopaths in the world that have no problems just using them for science experiments and other things. I mean, how did we get here? How did we get to a world where we have guys like Dr. Fauci just taking a everyday dog and just, it just blows my mind that these are the type of people that live in the same world that I do. Dr. Fauci belongs at the end of a rope, just like many of these other people do. They are tyrants and traitors. And to see Dr. Fauci sit up there, crying that your family has been threatened? Well, I lost people in my family from the decisions that you made, you ass clown. I am sick and tired of you sitting there, I'm so sorry, but I did everything that I could. You're a liar. And everybody knows you're a liar. But the thing that really irks me is that Congress isn't going to do anything to that man. Nothing. He ripped through the lives of many people. I have 2 people in my lives that are suffering majorly right now because of that damage that has been done to all that. Just makes my blood boil. Because how many people in America right now's lives have been flipped upside down because of the decisions that asshole made? One person, one decision within one government. Look at what has happened in 4 years' time with that pathetic shit going on up in Washington. If you're not mad, then you're not alive. If you're not doing something right now, then you're part of the problem. The only solution we have is the direction of getting it right. So let's get out there and get it right. Otherwise, guys like Fauci and the people that he parties with, all of those people up there, the big show, are going to get away with it. And they're going to continue to keep getting away with it until you and I said enough's enough. I'm sick of it. I certainly hope you're sick of it. So let's get the hell out there and do what we got to do. All right, my friends. I'm sorry that I hadn't got the podcast up and running just yet, but it will be there in due time. Like I said, I'm trying to juggle 50 different hats right now, and it hasn't been easy. But I promise you, my focus has never been more clear as to what it is we need to do and what it is I'm going to do. I hope to see you guys out there. Take care. Peace.